Hello everyone, I'm going to be showing you how to replace the passenger CV axle on a 2011 Toyota Highlander V6 two-wheel drive. So the reason why I'm doing this is because there's like a vibration around 40 to 45 miles an hour. It happens only on acceleration. It doesn't happen during braking, and if you let go of the pedal, the vibration is gone, so that rules out any tire balance problems. Additionally, if you look here, you can see like a line of grease right there. Lines up right with this CV axle joint right there, the inner CV axle joint. So yeah. The first thing you're going to want to do is jack up your car. In this car in particular, there's going to be a jack point right there. There's a jack cover with two 10mm bolts that you want to take off. Then you take the cover off, then you can jack up the car right there. And then for safety, you want a jack stand right at the pinch weld. Let me show you a better shot of where that is. There's the front of the car, wheel well, jack stand, pinch weld, and then for extra safety I left the wheel under there, and then I have the jack still. So the first thing you're gonna need to do, I already kind of loosened this. There's gonna be this little notch, and then this nut right here is gonna be indented into here. If you want to keep your CV axle, you're gonna want to move that little bump on the nut out of the way so you can loosen it. But in this case, since we're replacing it, I just took my impact gun and I loosened it. Alright, so this is the outer tie rod end. You want to remove this cotter pin right here, and then take a 17mm socket and take this nut off, and then this should pop right out. Or it shouldn't pop right out, but you can get an outer tie rod end removal tool and disconnect the two, or you can take a big hammer and knock it right here. Don't hit the outer tie rod, don't hit this, but hit this right here, the thing holding it together. Alright, I'm doing this one-handed, so I'm gonna have to put this down. Be right back. Alright, so it helps to turn your wheels to the left so you can get a little bit more access. I took off the cotter pin, and now I'm going to take off the nut. This is a 17mm nut for the outer tie rod end. Okay, so after I took the nut off, I rented one of these tools from AutoZone. This is called a tie rod end remover. So basically it attaches there. This is especially useful if you're going to use this so you don't destroy this rubber boot right there. So basically all you do is put it on, and then this you tighten right there, and then it'll pop this off. And there it goes. Outer tie rod is gone, or disconnected. And you can just leave that hanging. Then next, you're gonna want to remove those two lower ball joints, bolts right there. Let's see. They're also 17mm. There's one. Getting the wheel out of the way. Then there's the second one. Alright. Okay, so you gotta remove this bolt too. I forgot about that. And now this thing should come right out. Okay, so after taking out that last bolt, the third one, which is also 17mm right there, this should detach from the ball joint. So this whole thing is kind of loose. And then you should be able to push this through all the way. And then over here, let's see. There's a 14mm bolt right in the center of my screen. You're gonna want to remove that. Okay, next you're gonna want to take a pair of pliers, and then you're gonna have this C-clamp looking thing right there, and then you squeeze them together and pull it towards you or laterally away from the midline of the car. So kind of just loosen it right there. So I already did that. Then you take it off, I think, and then you can pull the axle out of the transmission. Alright guys, this is the hardest part of the job whenever you're trying to pull out the intermediate shaft out of that carrier bearing right there, or the axle. So basically what I did was I rented a slide hammer right here. It wasn't long enough, so I had to go buy an extension, and that still didn't work. So what I ended up doing was I tied a shirt to this, kind of like this, and then I kind of whacked it back and forth. The shirt gives you extra leverage, so yeah. After I put that shirt on, it gave me like 5 whacks and I was good to go. So yeah, wish you best of luck with that. Okay, so I took the axle out. Make sure you put a drop pan under where the transmission is, or you're gonna have a big leak like I just did. Then just clean up all the old grease. You can also put some anti-seize where the carrier bearing is, or right around here where it kind of rusted. Well, I don't know if that's rust, but yeah, you can leave that up. And pull off this old clip, put on a new one. Then compare axles, and then do reverse order and put everything back into place. Alright, so you can put anti-seize right here, around right there, where it goes into the hub. And then I just got it back in. Make sure to put that C-clip back up near the carrier bearing, and put the 14mm bolt back. So yeah, I'm about to attach the wheel hub after I put the anti-seize on.